Tell me, in order to prepare for getting pregnant, to start taking prenatal pills and also to start improving my diet.
Healthy eating during pregnancy is really important. Avoiding foods where you could get sick. Foods that have a high risk of things like salmonella or listeria, raw meats, soft cheeses.
There is also importance of low consumption of foods that may be high in mercury.
The baby is developing very rapidly at this time, and that's why it's so important for them to be on things like prenatal vitamins.
Particularly the folic acid in prenatal vitamins help with spinal defects, and that's really critical in the first trimester.
There's an awareness that there's another human being relying on what we're putting into our bodies. Well, not me, but what Megan puts into her body is having a direct effect on this little human being's experience in there. So she really made an emphasis to get more hydration, more protein, and all the vitamins she needed.
If you can incorporate the prenatal, it's a good thing. If unfortunately the nausea and the vomiting of pregnancy are making that difficult, you can continue to just do a folic acid supplementation or try to incorporate folic acid with the leafy green vegetables. But whatever you can consume during those first 13 weeks of the pregnancy are vital to the healthy development of the fetus.
Several immunizations are recommended, some prior to pregnancy and some during pregnancy. Main immunizations we recommend during the pregnancy are the flu shot every year during flu season.
Women who are pregnant are more susceptible to getting the flu. Flu season is usually through October to April, so if you're pregnant anytime during that time frame, then we'll recommend a flu shot.
We also recommend the Tdap shot, which is the tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis, which is whooping cough. We recommend that in the third trimester for every pregnancy for every woman.
Because you're over 27 weeks, we do recommend the whooping cough vaccine, which is Tdap. It's mostly to give those immune proteins to the baby. And then we'll have them for the first 3 months of life, which is the most vulnerable time for newborns getting whooping cough.
What is important to stress is that the immunizations that are recommended during your pregnancy are not live vaccines. So it's necessary that the mom stay as healthy as possible, so the immunizations provide a balance of support for her, but equally as important, it protects the newborn at the time of delivery.
Although severe iodine deficiency was eliminated in the United States nearly a century ago after the introduction of iodized salt, iodine intake has declined in recent decades. Public health efforts to limit salt intake to decrease cardiovascular risk, in conjunction with increasing use of non-iodized salt, may in part be to blame. Now, not adding salt to food is a good thing, as sodium is considered the second leading dietary killer in the world, second only to not eating enough fruit. But if you do add table salt, make sure it's iodized, as it is a myth, and often also false advertising, that so-called natural sea salt contains significant amounts of iodine. Fruits and vegetables provide iodine, but the amounts can vary depending on where it's grown, how much iodine is in the soil. Because iodine is particularly important for fetal brain development, there's a recommendation that all U.S. women who are pregnant, lactating, or even planning a pregnancy should ingest dietary supplements containing 150 micrograms of potassium iodide per day. Is there evidence that they're not getting enough now? Well, we'd like to see urine levels in pregnant women over 150, but in the U.S., pregnant women only average about 125. For example, a recent survey in New York City showed only about half of pregnant women were making the cut. Don't most women take prenatal vitamins, though? Only about half of prenatal multivitamins contain any iodine at all. And so only about 1 in 5 pregnant women in the U.S. are following the recommendations of the American Thyroid Association to take a daily iodine supplement, specifically in the form of potassium iodide rather than seaweed, as the levels in seaweed are subject to natural variability. Though the iodine content was as much as 90% off in some of the potassium iodide prenatal supplements, the kelp supplements varied even wider, off by as much as 170%. Now, the American Thyroid Association admits they don't have evidence that the current borderline insufficiency levels are leading to undesirable outcomes, and so their rationale that all pregnant women take iodine supplements is a bit tenuous. But until such data is available, they figure, better safe than sorry. A randomized, placebo-controlled interventional trial would answer the question once and for all, but the existing evidence for iodine supplementation during pregnancy is so convincing that it would be considered unethical to randomize pregnant women to a placebo. And so when it comes to sufficient iodine intake during pregnancy, I'd recommend just do it.